This week on the Gamers for Life podcast, we're going to be talking about the Halo TV series finally here, releasing its first episode. Microsoft saying that certain games will still be viable and that they don't need Game Pass for it. The Witcher coming out with a whole new game, and if we'll actually be able to trust CD Projekt Red. All coming up here at the Gamers for Life podcast. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Saturday we discuss all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is Arthur Thomas, my co-host here, right-hand man. Happy Halo release week.
Hey, yeah.
Right?
I say that, I'm pausing, because I'm just still happy I have a working fucking computer and a phone. I've had a weird emotional week with fucking electronics this week. First off, I went to go to the bathroom or something. And I forgot I left my cat in the room because she'll sit under my chair or under my footstool, so I don't physically see her. And I'll be playing games for like 2 hours, and she'll sit there and not move, and I'm making noise for hours, so I forget she's here. I come back, oh hey, there's like 4 keys fucking removed from my keyboard. 4 keys removed from my keyboard. She's never done that before.
Did they spell out a word like Scrabble?
No, it was like so. What doesn't work
like
right now?
Red
rum or fuck you, feed me. No, so there was like 6 to 8 keys like fully out or partially out. When the dust fully settled, my mute button doesn't work and my raised volume button doesn't work. I thought she broke my touchpad. I got that working. So that's helpful. Okay. And then the next day I thought I lost my phone. So real quick, there you go. I'm still trying to get a lock in the background. So short version, I take an Uber, come back, unload everything. I unload my pockets, I do the whole thing. Okay, where's my phone? Now where's my phone? Okay, this isn't funny. Where's my phone? I only put it like in 3 spots. And then I was like, fuck, it might have fell in my pocket. I got new shorts, shit happens. have you help me trying to call a driver, nothing's responding. I'm like, great, I have a new phone. Great, you get a new phone. Horrible timing, because also I'm trying to save up for a flight to see family. Lo and behold, do Google, find my phone. It was in the pothole in the street where I got dropped off at my house.
Wow, what are the odds?
Because I had originally did a I had previously done trace my footsteps, because maybe it did fall out. By luck, maybe it fell out where I got out. I looked, I didn't see it, but I didn't see it because it was face down, the all black case in the pothole. I just didn't fucking see it. So thankfully I did the whole use Google, find my phone, doing the ringing thing, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. So yeah, cool. A couple keys in my keyboard get broken. The next day, my phone falls in a pothole.
That's a pretty big pothole, dude. Damn.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Yeah. City Works. Scan your fucking shit.
So for those of you watching here for the first time, welcome. Be sure to like and subscribe here on the Gamers for Life podcast channel on the YouTube. We greatly would appreciate a lot of great content here on the show, so we highly recommend it. And also, if you want to check out more episodes for the Gamers for Life podcast, other than the video ones, we have the audio as well. We got a bunch of great episodes for you to catch up on. You could go to linktree.com/Gamers for Life. It's the one-stop link to everything Gamers for Life that's currently active, that we're actively updating, things of that nature. We have an Instagram as well. Be sure to follow that. And then Arthur, he's been killing it with doing the streams. What have you been playing for the folks?
Me, Caleb, and Ivan drunkenly played World of Warships. It was really fun. And plus, I'm really happy because we had an audio glitch where I was talking to y'all, off recording. I was having an audio glitch where it was this temporary thing. It was for 1 or 2 videos only. The level of the stream was I hear, but also in a second it automatically uploads the drops, but it's fixed. But yeah, Ivan and Nikhil were, drunkenly playing World of Warships because it's fun and it's free, and we're surprisingly good at it. But yeah, so we're drinking a little bit, and Caleb's like, oh, you call me fat. I think my literal response was like, I didn't call you fat, you fat fuck. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy how that came out. I think definitely one of my favorite clips. I know Joel, I know you've heard it before playing with me and Ivan, or being here and hearing Ivan play in the background. One of Ivan's lovely screams of death. Just, him and I are sailing next to each other, like 2 feet next to each other. I look back and I'm like, oh, there's like 8 torpedoes. They're going to murder my friend. And I'm like, bye, Ivan. He doesn't see him. Huh? Just screams.
Yeah, he gets really into it. It cracks me up, definitely. Oh, man.
I would say, real quick, and one more tech thing. I'm having issues. I need to update my drivers because I stopped recording and we're going to switch over to Forza Horizon 5, which is an amazing game we got into. I'm pretty much right now, I'm just really putting my Xbox through the runs, doing the whole optimize for Xbox. And we forgot, Forza always puts Xbox to its courses of how pretty things fucking look.
Oh, yeah.
It's gorgeous. But yeah, we couldn't stream that because I had in a 5-minute time span, Elgato or my drivers were like, update me now. So fuck you. And yeah, drunk me did not figure. I did not feel like YouTubing had to update my drivers, so I'm like, whatever. But I'm playing Forza Horizon. I do plan on streaming that soon. It's gorgeous.
Nice. Sounds like a really good game to stream too. So, so folks, here at the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news. Well, you can watch or listen to what you choose, but clicking on the links of the time codes within the description of the episode so you know what's going on. And if you want to choose a specific topic or segment that you care about most, you can go directly to that without watching or listening to the whole episode, but you can also watch and listen the whole episode as well to hang out with us here at the Gamers for Life podcast. Always welcome to do that. Again, be sure to like and subscribe. And starting here at the tip of the iceberg, or the I want to say Spartan sword, if you will. You have Halo the TV.
I thought you were going to say tip of the Paramount Mountain.
I know I should do that one. We got the Halo TV series. The first episode is officially out live. So if you have Paramount Plus, or if you want to get Paramount Plus, of course, you can do like the trial, 7-day trial. Check it out. But give me
and you also, I'll say real quick, I'll also mention that as a perk for Game Pass, I think you get like a month free too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Game Pass always gets you perks. It made the news that you get 3 months free, like Spotify. You get 3 months free Hulu, and so now you get a month free Paramount Plus via Game Pass Ultimate perk.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Great feature there. So Arthur, it's funny, man. I was on Instagram, just kind of checking the temperature. I love checking the temperature as far as for how gamers feel about some of these games that are converted into movie mediums, things of that nature. And specifically, I was going to, one of the biggest controversies was the fact that Master Chief takes his helmet off first fucking episode of the show, right? And the IGN was covering
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Sorry. IGN was covering it. If you're into Halo, you probably found out already.
Yeah.
But IGN was covering it, and then they had a little paragraph just talking about like the character as far as like being connected to the universe and to the people and everything, and and like there were so many people that were like, no. Just a big pie chart. Like, if it was a pie chart, probably 75% were like, nah, and the other 25 were like, so, but. To convert to that, I was going to ask you, just in general, your thoughts on the show, and obviously you can respond to that as well.
Okay, so first and foremost, the show, I'm becoming more and more of a simplistic guy. I feel like I have to be, because if you're going to be a purist, when it comes to, at least video games being brought to life via movies or TV, 99 times out of 100, it's going to miss the mark. It just is.
Yeah.
The ratio of great to okay to horrible fucking game movie adaptations, it's way off. There's like 2 great ones in my opinion, Sonic and Silent Hill. There's a handful of okay ones, like they get the pass in terms of pass fail, they get the pass, and a fuck ton of what the fuck was happening.
Right.
Like Max Payne, House of the Dead,
Street Fighter.
That one's in my okay category, but only because the cast saves it. Only because the cast.
Only Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I forget his name. The late great actor that played from the Addams Family. Chung-Li, who the actress, I forget her name. Her name. Now getting renowned again as her character in the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett series. So I'm glad she's back again. So again, only for me the cast saves that. But Halo, it gets a pass for me. They bring it back, it gets a pass. If I had to be more detailed to the first episode for a grade, B. Let's just go with the B. Not B minus, but just go with the B. In terms of, again, a classic, my old favorite question I ask myself when I walk out of a movie or a show, my inner Russell Crowe, were you not entertained? I think it was. It's really funny. It's like, let's say this is if this really was a game. I'm here for the gameplay. Kind of want to skip the dialogue because Amblin, I called it, man, because something you and I were talking about. I got lucky with my guess. We're talking about, a show like this needs to have good CGI. It needs to. Yeah. And of course, something you brought up with, well, how much will the show cost per episode? Yeah. And when you bring that to a factor, that affects some of these cancellations you see with shows, or affects, how long a season is, affects how many seasons a show will have entirely, because money is money. And if, again, you cannot have really good CGI for fucking cheap. Yeah. So
I found out too, it's about 10 million. So
yeah. So when I found out, I was talking about how Amblin was great. Found out Amblin was going to do it. I'm like, I'm here for it. And the CGI looks fucking good.
Dope. It's really good.
It looks good. To get back into the show itself, what I mean by I'm here for the gameplay and not so much a dialogue, that's what I mean for me. Amblin is A+, killing it. Early into, again, we're gonna do little spoilers. So early into the episode, you meet for me these annoying fucking characters. The show. So remember, as a premise, this is a prequel. This is a prequel, pre Halo 1. Yeah. So a lot of people forget pre Halo 1 lore wise, the UNSC is kind of having a rebellion via the colonies and the quote outer world, outer rim, situation, sort of like Star Wars. And so my thing is they established, okay, there's a war going on. And then the soon to be one of the main characters is clearly terrified as shit. If you know your friend and you know your friend's body language and they look like they're about to physically shit themselves from fear, and they go, there's a ship over there. Again, knowing we established in this world they're at war, they go, oh really? Let's go fuck with it. And I'm like,
well, remember they were high. They ate those little plants. Remember? So that's why
they were.
Yeah, that's why they were because they had those drugs.
I kind of forgot. I found them annoying as shit.
They were. That's why they died.
Halo, good job in amazingly killing them off fast.
Oh yeah,
and immediately setting the tone. This show is R.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're picturing I get it. Gamers have kids. They want to show their kids thing. Hey, if you don't want to see people's heads be blown off, don't show them this fucking show. Yeah, because I immediately out loud went, whoa.
I did too. I was yeah, I did too. I was like, whoa.
I didn't because to be fair, if you really think about it, Halo's been around for 20 years. This is the first time we get real gore.
Yeah,
this is church, kind of almost church, jokingly getting it right. What if Halo combined with Doom kind of might look like this show?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm I hate those annoying characters, man. I hope they boom get their head blown off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. Their person's leg explodes and woo. So the opening fight scene's great.
Yeah.
You mentioned the helmet thing. So there are areas where I absolutely understand where purists are what the fuck. Yeah. Even though I just said, hey, you can't be a purist. Okay, the helmet thing. First of all, to do it episode 1, did not see that coming. Second of all, it's gonna be a thing because it's not like the Mandalorian where he took his helmet off for one scene and put it back on. It's the rest of that episode is him without his helmet off. Yeah. A third. I think do the math. It felt like a third or at least the last act of this.
It was a good quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all with his helmet off. So this is going to be a thing. And for me, I kind of laughed at it. I'm one reason why it wasn't the biggest deal for me. I don't know. Okay. The actor in a positive way kind of just has that bland army guy looking face. So I'm okay, that maybe what message
that's
you
probably what
it
looks like.
bland army guy face. I thought they were doing a fake out because, I thought with removing the helmet scene, I thought they were gonna do a fake out because they do a long shot showing the back of his head, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and again from the back of his head, it looked like Blind Army guy.
Yeah,
The buzz cut, it just did,
yeah.
and they show his front, and I'm like, oh, they show his face, and then like, is he gonna put the helmet back on? Nope. So I get that.
You're like, yeah, that's the Master Chief.
it took away a few points for me, but not like, again, it wasn't like a kill the show moment for like a lot of people. Like I'm sure a lot of people were like, fuck this, turn it off, and you know, I don't know, watch the first really rapey season of Game of Thrones. I don't fucking know. But so for me, and then there's other scenes that just a lot of tropes. For example, the conversation between the daughter and the dad when they find out they're going to order to kill the girl, that conversation line by fucking line we have heard too many fucking times. Like I did something where my notes, I think I put my notes to draft text but didn't fucking save it. But remember, that's the one where like okay, put this way, it's like we're fighting for humanity, but we can't, but how can we fight for humanity if we lose it ourselves? Like, how many fucking times have you heard that? Like, how many, like line by line? And then he says, in war you have to make tough decisions. And then of course, what's the next response to that? You sound like blah 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 evil type character. That bugged me. Like that exact that the whole conversation did not need to happen, because I've heard it verbatim. Like, especially that line, everything about the conversation we've heard. In war, you have to make tough decisions. Now you sound like so-and-so. How can we fight for humanity if we lose our humanity? What the? I've heard that part. Like, that's what I'm saying. After episode 1, I'm really in for the gameplay. Dialogue, I want to be a few times.
Yeah, no, I could definitely understand that, and again, I agree with you as far as for the action scenes are fantastic. It's definitely top of the line, you know, graphics and everything, state of the art. They did a great job with that. I really like the music, and they kind of cue in a little bit of the Halo theme, a little bit, because part of me was like, I wonder how much of the Halo theme is actually going to be on it, because there's a huge lawsuit right now where the guy's kind of like firing back at Bungie or whatever as far as for the music, because they wanted him to save all the recordings or delete everything that's been online or whatever. So that whole bullshit, right?
Yeah, he didn't know how DMCA works, and he kept telling people, yeah, use my music wherever you want.
Right.
Oh.
It's like, what do you mean I don't own it? But anyway.
Yeah. But I wrote it. Yeah, I remember we talked about that. Like, short version, as talented as the composer is for the Halo stuff, he just didn't know how DMCA laws work.
Yeah.
Everyone asked him, hey, can I use your music? Yeah, it's my music. I made it. Go nuts. Oh, I don't own it? Dear so-and-so, in my last email, we discussed.
Yeah, per my last email.
Yeah, per my last email.
But as far as for some of the things I appreciate the diversity of the show. You know, you're seeing folks of all different races. I appreciate, you know, even some people that they're speaking in their own language, and they have
Korean.
and then they have subtitles, you know, like well, even from the aliens too, right? You know what I mean? So like the aliens, and then you have, you know, in Korean or whatnot. So like I appreciate that, just because it's like, look, it's like this should be like the future should be in that realm where you're seeing people of all, you know, all different colors, all different backgrounds, cultures and whatnot, all doing, you know, whatever they're doing. I just think that's a realistic thing. And, you know, to me, like, to me, one of the worst things in the world is a racist nerd. It's like, you know, it's just like, what the fuck? You know, it's just like it's
man,
like
those aliens are cool. A fucking black guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? You know, like, exactly.
Those fish face aliens are fucking cool and original, man. Is that a fucking Asian chick?
No, exactly. So I appreciate the diversity in it, you know, especially the representation of women and stuff as well. I do think that there is some work to be done from the writing, because it's funny, because that conversation needed to be had, but not in that way. It could have been written a lot more original. So I agree with you there. The good thing about a TV show, though, is that there are different writers for different episodes. Very, you know,
Yes.
so we could very well get a better written season throughout the show. So and I hope people say something like what you said. I hope they say that publicly so they can kind of mold the show to kind of fit as far as for like that fits their artistic integrity, and then also just kind of like the show story in general. As far as for Master Chief taking his helmet off, I mean, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm a Halo fan, but I'm not one of those guys that's just like, they should have did exactly like the games. No, you can't do that, blah blah blah. It's like look guys, like, you guys are sounding like those people that are like, the book was better, like 20, 30 years ago when those movies came out. Oh, the book was better.
Hey, I read like 6 books and they're way better than this 20 minutes of show I just saw. It's like, probably. Like,
yeah, and it should be, right? Because it's the original source material.
Yeah.
So I think as far as for the grand scheme of things, of them taking, a very precious piece of art that a lot of that high, obviously the gaming community respects to the highest tier, and they're putting it into a quality into this show, I can respect that. I'm curious to see where the show goes. I'd probably give it a B+, probably give it a little bit, because I just think as far as for them, they're not just satisfying gamers, they're satisfying anyone that wants to watch this. So someone who's never played a Halo game in their life, that they'll be able to ascertain it. I think they're doing a pretty good job of that. My only critique, and I feel like it's unavoidable, is like the standard first-person view mode that a lot of that happened throughout the the show.
Like, hey, we have a futuristic helmet. What does it look like inside the helmet? I mean, I was on the fence. I was kind of okay with it because I feel like there was definitely a lot of nods to the game, like in terms of how the radar worked or didn't work, which happens in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the
regeneration. Remember the regeneration?
The regeneration. Boom. Yeah, they have the sound effects.
That was good.
We always talk about this when you regenerate gaming or like especially sci-fi stuff. You need to have those sound effects.
Yes.
Like I said, when it, like for example, even with my eyes closed, if you fire different machine guns, I can tell you which one's the alien clone, which one's the machine gun from Alien. That specific burst fire gun, we know the sound of that gun versus
the pulse rifle. Yeah, exactly.
And so again, I was a little mixed because like the grenade symbol stuff, it was like little nods.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention about is we mentioned helmet. So casting wise so far, and this, I mean, it sounds weird, but maybe a writing thing. I can't exactly. It's like for me, it's like I can't entirely blame performance off writing. Again, so like for example, Miranda Keys, who gave for me that super tropey verbatim, "How can we fight for humanity if we lose our humanity?" I've heard that too. I have heard that line by line 2 times. So I can't. So that's why she's not my favorite character, but that's writing. Casting wise, Dr. Halsey, she's my favorite character. She is the shit. She's like,
I mean, she's very, she's been in a bunch of stuff too. Like, she's awesome.
Like
and attractive.
That actress, her look, her character, her demeanor. Like, I know it sounds weird now. Like, it's just, I know it's not. Maybe it's not the biggest worst thing for me, but I can say as of right now, as a character, right now it's not Master Chief. It's Halsey. I want to see more of her. Like, so it's like her and the Admiral, which is like, it feels like the president equivalency in this militaristic situation.
Yeah.
It's like, disobey one more order, fucking blah, blah, blah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So she said this, fuck that. Do this. She's very, she's
against the grain.
Yeah, she's very against grain. We mentioned the action. One of my notes I just remembered, action wise, there is more running in this first episode than all of the Mandalorian and Boba Fett combined. Like, we're like, oh wow, Master Chief is running. We're like, again, because just I feel like arguably the 2 most popular shows that are Asian in this recently have been Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, with the Boba Fett series just ending, aka Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah.
There was, again, we were mentioning the action. I can't talk about it enough. Again, there's running. There was more running in this one episode, arguably in that one fucking fight, than all of the Mandalorian and Boba Fett combined.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this is fast paced. Like, their feet are moving at a faster pace than just slow back and forth walking.
Right. No, that is interesting.
What do you think about the opening credits? Like with the armor fusing thing.
I thought it was cool. Do you mean like just the first scene of the show?
No, I'm not like the credits.
Or
like,
the actual opening credits?
Like the actual credits. So like the gray
I
nano, the gray nano stuff doing
I
the armor
liked it.
thing.
I thought it was cool. I mean, because this is definitely like one of those things where it's like they're gonna show this every episode opening. You know? What I mean?
We're gonna see it over and over again.
Yeah.
This is like so it's like, hey, we're gonna, you know, no matter what happens, this one thing we're gonna see over and over again.
Right. It's like, you like this?
I liked it as well. I definitely also like how they kept the Halo logo, like that classic, because I feel like it's almost a Mandela effect for some people. If you're tells people to describe the Halo logo, it's like, well, to be fair, in future things, it's more of like a black and gray thing.
Yeah.
But it originally was like the purple, like energy color that we see from the Elites and from the Covenant. So there's that.
Yeah.
I mentioned writing. Unless I'm stupid and have a horrible memory, that human character in the Covenant, she didn't exist in the games, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm not. I'm nervous about that because I feel like
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I mean, I feel like that's one of those things that we might just have to chew and swallow. You know what I mean? But
because I'm like, I know they had it in Gears, and Gears did it kind of well. So I'm like,
because first I thought it was an alien behind human skin. Because the guy was like, "Oh, give me back the book about the humans." It's like we're not. It's like we're learning about our enemy. We're not trying to connect. So that's what I was like. Okay, maybe there's an alien under there.
Nah, it's just some chick they don't call a human. That's a human.
I think that before we move on to the next segment, I think my favorite story part in the show, or at least in the episode, was the first part. I feel like there is a lot of realism there where you have, over 100 people that got killed, and then the UNSC, came in, and then they just took people. They took the Covenant or whatever out that was around them, and then they were just like, oh yeah, looks like it's clear. Oh, okay, one person survived, 100 dead. It's like, dude, like the mission's failed.
Like, dude, at first I was nervous because I get it, it's a prequel. So the story settings, because I'm like, man, hopefully we don't get that much like colonist or like peasant stuff, because I wasn't in Halo, but again, because story wise, that was after all that shit. But yeah, I think for me that opening just fights just for me like saves the episode for me.
Yeah, just like I guess my point is just like the casualty of war and the realism as far as like they didn't make it a hokey thing where it's like, oh, they almost are gonna get murdered, and then they came in and saved the day. You know what I mean? It's like, no, they came in when most of everyone already died. So like I'm like that's like to me that's like a sense of realism. Like I like that writing.
And because remind you, minus up until we see the Spartans fight the aliens, up until that point we just heard how those two factions are at war. The UNSC and the rebels, whatever they call them, the colonists, whatever they call them, they're at war. Really specific. Paramount has the shittiest subtitles of any streaming service. They're thin and black.
They're pretty small, right?
They're thin, black with no background box.
See, for me at least, when I was the medium that I was watching it on, it was wide over like black boxes. Yeah, but it was still pretty small though. So yeah.
But again, for Paramount Plus, so again, like picture the settings, right? Picture the settings. Like picture all the sets we saw. Yeah, black subtitles don't fucking work.
Yeah.
I'll say that's the reason why I know they spoke Korean, because somewhere in the subtitles it was like literally Korean speaking.
Oh, okay. So you literally put. I thought you meant the subtitles that were inputted into the show.
Not the alien subtitles. I meant not the like in general, like like Netflix did closed captioning subtitles.
Yeah.
No, their subtitles fucking suck.
Yeah, that sucks. Dang.
You could also really random. You could tell how much Paramount's going in this, because you remember like the old days with like, Dream. What was it called? Okay, the old like Shrek. DreamWorks. People remember. You can always tell what movie you're watching based on the kid fishing off the moon.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I watched Lost World, the Jurassic Part 2 Lost World.
Pulled his ass in the water.
The raptor pulls him off. I want to say real quick, with the Paramount logo, you can tell how much Paramount's going in, because now when the Paramount logo loads, it's a warhog. It's a warhog doing a fucking donut.
Oh yeah.
Around the Paramount logo.
Nice.
I know we're on it a lot, but it's a big thing. There is one more thing I wanted to mention,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to give it the attention, and I think more than Paramount's fucking giving it. Halo Declassified with Sidney Goodman.
Yeah. Talk about that, because I know you watched that episode prior to the
Mm-hmm.
actual show, right?
So first off, if you have Paramount Plus and you have trouble finding it, it's because it's not listed as its own show. It's under extras. It's under extras in the Halo thing, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
So usually it's, you know, like Halo, or like next to it, like Halo thing. Nah, so like when you click Halo, you know, there's all these things like, you know, continue, restart over, blah blah, extras, or like it was like a post show. It was like, I think it was called the post show, and that's what it is. It's like 20 minutes of the best way to describe it is, if you remember The Walking Dead when it first premiered. I don't know, they maybe still be doing it. I don't know. I don't watch Walking Dead, but when The Walking Dead was first mainly going on, what AMC did is the second The Walking Dead ended, the post show Talking Dead came on, being hosted by the guy from Nerdist, one of the founders of Nerdist.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening right now with the show hosted by Sidney Goodman. I like it. Pretty much, it's put this way, it's the same thing on par with the Video Game Awards. I like it when Sidney Goodman is doing her thing, but then other cringy stuff is there. I don't.
Everyone
like
else,
it.
it's kind of it's kind of cringy.
It like again, for example, it's like, hi, I'm Sidney Goodman coming from a secret covenant base. It's like, it's 2022. We're adults. That's a set. You're not. That's not a secret base.
You're like, no, you're not.
It's like I feel like there's some people that really like just want to be fully immersed in RP. Like, this is real. I'm like, she used to work with IGN. This isn't fucking real. That's a set. Like, go her.
I've literally seen your house from Instagram.
like, you were posting yoga pictures yesterday. This isn't a fucking. But again, that's not her. Again, that's not
Santa
her.
isn't real.
That's just writing. You know what I mean? That's just you know what I mean. So like I said, so for me, some people dig it, but for me, that level of like immersion of stuff, for me, it kind of falls in the category of cringe. Like, for example, like the new Disney ride, Rise of the Resistance. The first half of the ride, you're LARPing. The first, if you've ever been there, or if you've ever seen a video of it, then of the new Star Wars stuff at Disneyland, Rise of Resistance, you're in line, and there's like a line phase 2 where you're like, stand here, and you're like, and there's like, you're LARPing. You're like, there's people in Rebel gear, stand here. And then where you're in line, your ship gets taken over, and then people in costume, and they're like, "Who are you? Stand in your original designated colors that they fucking gave you." I'm like, okay, cool, we're prisoners, but I'm orange, so we're still orange. And then while you're waiting for the ride to start, they're like, "So where's the rebel base?" I'm just like, I'm like laughing. I'm like half laughing, like, what? What is this? And they're like, you know, and if I didn't want to lock eye contact, I knew she would talk to me, because it's like someone did, like, people play along. They're like, I will never tell you anything. I'll die before I tell you Rebel Base. It's like, dude, we're in a fucking line. Like, this isn't even the ride. Like, we're in a fucking line. I've been standing in line for 45 minutes. I'm not here to see you in your Disney like 30th anniversary, 50th anniversary fucking shirt. Be like, I'll die before I tell you anything, you fucking first order scum. I'm just like, dude,
Arthur is not playing. He's like, man, you're into the fucking ride.
Like, if she were calling me like, I've been like, hey, we've been in line for 45 minutes. Like, how long will we be here? Because I would rather be over there for an hour more than 5 more minutes here. Because this is so like that super immersion. Like, again, like they do that in Declassified. Cortana, or at least the voice, they don't physically show her, but the voice of Cortana is there. It's like the assistant, whatever. And again, the best way I could describe Declassified, it's cool because you get extra interviews, you get kind of the fun behind the scenes facts, like the main guy, Pablo, not Escobar, but Pablo something, and the other 3 actors that play the silver team instead of blue team, silver team, you know, they're at boot camp together, stuff like that. But again, you get like when the show starts, you get Cortana. It's like, warning, we must give story-driven protocol initiative, and she's like, oh, spoiler warnings. Just say fucking spoiler warnings, Cortana. Like, you know, like I'm saying. So it's like, for me, at least the first episode of Halo, it literally the full thing is called Halo the Series Declassified. again, Sydney Goodman doing Sydney Goodman thing, awesome. There's the reason why they brought her on. She kills it. The cringe, for me, cringe, or what you can call it, immersive writing. Nah, like we're good. Like no, like I can't. It's like it's just we don't need it
because it's almost like it's written for a younger demo, but then when you watch it, people's limbs are flying off.
Exactly. So who is this for?
Right.
Like, hey, little Timmy, how'd you like the show? That man has no face. Which is true, because again, like I can say, oh, so that's what happens when you truly headshot a fucking one of their 4 fucking jaws fly off.
Right. Yeah. Master Chief just emptying his clip inside.
Master Cleave just fucking
in the
mag dumping into this dude's face. Hey, little Timmy, Cortana's here. Will she stop the nightmares?
Man.
Really random. Paramount needs to put a more focus on this, because I can't find the trailer anywhere. Like, really, I was telling you, like, I'm not joking. If you right now fucking Google Halo the Series Declassified trailer, which exists, we've seen it. It was on. I have only seen it one time on Sidney Goodman's Instagram story. I have not seen it anywhere else. And even further, it's not even in Paramount Plus, because you know how like Netflix on these streaming services under extras you get the trailers for everything, like the announcement trailer, the sneak peek trailer, trailer number 1, trailer number 2. It's not there. So I feel like so again, I feel like we're happy for you and I, for these people that we've seen, whether it's game journalists, personalities, podcast hosts, game writers, to kind of arguably, quote unquote, like kind of like move up industry versus kind of like the mainstream focus. So that's why I'm really glad Sydney Goodman's the host of the show. We were a huge fan of her before. It was awesome seeing her at Video Game Awards. So it's just weird for me, like the marketing on this is very low. Like I said, I can't find a trailer for it anywhere. But again, so either way, like the episode, not the episode, but you still want to get, if you kind of just want to get more stuff. Again, in the section for the show is the declassified thing, and plus you get a sneak peek. Plus I liked it because I got a sneak peek of the next episode, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll say this. At the end of the day, here's another reason why it gets a pass for me. Am I over the show, or am I now excited for the next episode? I am excited for the next episode.
That's a good indicator there. And then speaking of one of Microsoft's precious IPs, they brought up an interesting conversation here earlier this week, talking about the viability of certain games that Microsoft has, and that they, in quote, that they don't need to be on Xbox. So let me start with the article. This is from
Xbox Game Pass.
Xbox Game Pass, yes. So the article here, it says, Microsoft says games don't need to be on Xbox Game Pass to be viable on Xbox. So I thought this is an interesting conversation. I wanted to read a little bit of this link here, or this article. Let's see.
I'll say, but like, it really fucking helps though.
Oh, that's weird. This article is basically like a blog. It's not really talking about what they actually say.
Here's what I think about the article. But first, yesterday my lunch from Panera Bread, really good.
Okay, so first of all, Hit One Games, you guys don't know how to write an actual fucking article.
And that's saying a lot, because we've read articles from Kotaku's editor-in-chief, and fuck that.
Right, yeah, because like it's weird. The article is like impressions. It's not actually talking about who said that, which I know Phil Spencer said that, if I'm not mistaken.
Which I want to say, as much as I'm Team Phil, also mentioning, so spoilery curse. I usually dick ride Game Pass and Senpai Phil. I disagree.
Yeah.
Well, I disagree partially because on face value, does every game in the Game Pass library need to survive? Does it need Game Pass to survive? No, but I would argue increasingly, especially post COVID, and now with this is kind of like tangent, but I feel like the dots still connect. With prices of new AAA games face value going up, like meaning an Xbox Series, a PS5 game is more expensive than a PS4 game. That's how it is with these new consoles. I feel like Game Pass's value with that just passively increased even further, because now rather than paying previously $60, now rather than paying $65, $70 with tax, depending where you are, with these new games you get in Game Pass. And I would argue for me, a great passive, huge, massive benefit of Game Pass is discovering smaller developers, indie developers, or games you really wouldn't have heard of or touched otherwise. For me, like Forza Horizon 5, something we'll talk later, Gran Turismo. For me, I feel like racing games are partially, potentially like what we called, and I still stand by it, on a large scale, a niche thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying Forza Horizon 5. It's fucking amazing. I wouldn't pump $70 in to try Forza Horizon 5, but it's on Game Pass. Like something, you know, there's a reason why Jarrell asks me every time we start an episode, hey, what are you playing? Because there's a 90% chance in the next week I'm trying another fucking Game Pass
Something
game.
new. Exactly.
It's something new and it's great. You know, especially following up the past week that Xbox had the indie developer at Xbox Showcase on Game Pass. I think that's the part where I disagree. Does like a massively funded, massively marketed AAA game need Game Pass to be viable? No. But in terms of the number of indie games that are on Game Pass, that's why just in terms of numbers, I disagree with that statement.
Yeah, no, I think you make a really good point, Arthur, especially when you talk about the discoverability of games that you normally wouldn't play, that wouldn't be a part of your demo, but they're available because you paid $15 to play a massive, you know, a library of games, right? I think one of the points that I was thinking about as far as this is that, you know, one, the same thing, your same point, the discoverability factor, especially when it comes to, like, say, indie-based games or indie-based studios that are on Game Pass, that are kind of getting the same discoverability as everything else. So it's kind of like, you know, usually you see these algorithms cater towards these bigger games, right? With traffic, at least it seems like in retrospect, the algorithms are kind of a little bit even as far as, hey, there's this game, right? The to me, the issue with his statement of being viable on Xbox is that if being viable, you know, on game, if it's on Game Pass, you know, it doesn't have to be on there to be viable. The problem for me is that if it wasn't on Game Pass, it's almost like it's a competitor then. You know what I mean? Because everyone, you know, Microsoft has done a great job really getting everyone into the concept of Game Pass. I remember originally when people were very weary of Game Pass before it was really big. Like
it was just a Halo Gears of War subscription. That's all it was.
Yeah, like I remember when I'm saying her Twitter name, Charlanazard.
That's what I do too. That's what I do.
Yeah,
Alana Pierce.
Yeah, Alana Pierce, and you know, and Greg Miller and all this stuff, and like everyone was talking about, like, hey, like it's weird. Like I talked to customers, and no one wants to get on the Game Pass. But then obviously, you know, kind of the same reason why I didn't get on Game Pass. So I'm like, well, I don't want to play just Halo and Gears. But once they started really diversifying their catalog, everyone got into it. So now everyone's into the node of like, hey, I like playing $15 and not $60 to $70 on a game when it comes out. But now if you say that, you know, these games they can still exist without Game Pass, but they're going to be kind of indirectly competitors. You know what I mean?
In terms of do I need Game Pass or not? And something worth mentioning too. I'd argue the biggest update that made Game Pass more viable was the formation of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
Because that was another thing. Remember when Xbox Live for the 360 happened, for the first time, gamers were now paying online just to play online. That was a big bonus of why I think PS3 sold significantly a little bit better to day one compared to 360, because you did not have to pay to play online with Sony, but you did for Xbox.
Yeah.
And then to announce a separate subscription on top of that, we were like, hey, this is too much. And then the biggest changes was, one, the game library became a heavily focused. Like I said, I told myself, I'm going to buy Crackdown 3. I'm going to buy Sea of Thieves. I'm going to buy State of Decay 2. In the same week, all three of those games that I wanted to play were announced were coming to Game Pass. And I was like, cool, I'm going to save like $160 alone just with those three titles by themselves.
Yeah.
And then years later, Game Pass did its biggest update, which is Game Pass Ultimate, where Xbox Live that we were previously paying just to play online, and now Xbox Game Pass are now one and the same subscription. That was the biggest, I think, update. And that happened right just by chance, or like pre-COVID. It was like 2019. Like that was like Game Pass Ultimate's not that old.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. But
That's a
but
good
like you
point
said,
though, as far
but
as the online component. Yeah.
because again, that's why it took for me what felt like it felt years for Game Pass to really blow up to what it was. Is number one, the gaming library to make it make its value. We started seeing more of it at E3 for things other than Microsoft first parties, like like Gears, like Halo. Another thing with Game Pass to me, I feel like it also lets game companies potentially save on marketing because it does the game for them. Put it this way, I've never heard this phrase, or like this or like I just with the YouTube I watched and social media, whatever. Did you know that the makers of Guacamelee made a new game?
No, I didn't.
It's the game I'm playing. Nobody Saves the World. I didn't even know that until after like 10 hours of playing it.
Oh wow.
Because with one thing you can do with the Xbox store is you can scroll down and it says either A, more games like this, or B, more games made by. And I was like, wait a second, this is made by the people that make Guacamelee. Also, the reason at some point I figured it out because I'm like, this is like the third Guacamelee Easter egg I've seen. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm going to connect the dots. But I'm saying, like, I don't recall seeing a trailer. I don't recall hearing an announcement. I don't recall seeing an article, on IGN, something like that of, hey, that award-winning company that we loved Guacamelee 1 and 2, well, they're making a new game called No One Saves the World. I don't remember hearing that. It was only because it was featured not only in Game Pass and under recently added, but it was also featured in my dashboard. Yeah. So again, that's what I'm saying. Game Pass does have that kind of that marketable thing to it because Game Pass has its own dashboard section. It's has its own little dashboard box in the main thing. Definitely. So that definitely helps us. Again, that definitely helps the smaller developers because Guacamelee was a major successful game. But yeah, I heard nothing that they made a new game until I just downloaded this game by chance. Even then, I didn't even discover it was them until hours after playing it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Arthur. It's a great point you make, and I think if they really want to test the waters with that statement to see if that's actually true, and I know they won't do this because it's too risky. I think Starfield. Don't make Starfield on Game Pass. See, let's see how viable it is.
Oh, I was gonna say even further. Fucking take Halo Infinite off Game Pass and see how
Halo will fail.
Hell yeah, Halo. I was like, ooh, a not cooperative story and a Halo multiplayer that's Halo the Battle Pass.
yeah. I was just saying Starfield. I said if they really want to stick to that statement. For this game that's been in development, it's supposed to be a huge game, right? And if it's going to be quote unquote just as viable.
For 10 years, like Skyrim, like that's what they said. They said they want Starfield to be. They would say they want Starfield to be playable 10 years down the road, just like Skyrim was. And I'm like, well, to be fair, I'm not to go into too much, but one of the things that made Skyrim what it was groundbreaking, and that to sound wrong, just statistically speaking, 10 years later, we've seen other Skyrim-like games.
Right, exactly.
So that wow factor, that shock factor, that surprise factor. A lot of that's gone because in 10 years, well, one, we've also had like 3 different versions of Skyrim itself.
Yeah.
or two, we've seen other games that have had similar mechanics, even possibly polished a little bit more because again, it's been 10 years. So they say that they want Starfield just as viable 10 years down the road like Skyrim. That's a bold statement. It's a
very bold statement. Also, too, because it's interesting because there's a very small chance, and I know how you feel about Bethesda and Todd Howard, and I agree with you for the most part as well. But they have a very small chance of potentially hitting a mark of it being just as groundbreaking, just because I feel like there aren't a whole lot of open world, like super open world space games. Like there's a few of them that I can remember, but I think for something to be as expansive as Skyrim, I would argue from a console perspective, we haven't really seen anything super detailed. So I think Starfield has the chance of making that 3-point shot. It's going to be really hard to fucking make. It's damn near half court, but we'll just have to see what happens, later this year. So,
well, I will say the release schedule It's ringing a bell. I think sounds familiar.
I know you're gonna say Outer Worlds
Outer
2.
Worlds.
It's
Outer Worlds 2,
but
baby.
again, I think Starfield is supposed to be even more detailed. Again, I think if we're to say who's gonna win the race, probably Outer Worlds 2. But I would say in a sense, Outer Worlds isn't going to be as risky of a game to make as Starfield.
It won't be as grand for sure.
Yeah.
But again, if
Something to not disappoint us.
if Todd Howard pulls a Fallout 76 and drops the ball in November,
yeah,
your boy's coming in February.
Yeah. At least they'll be able to pick it up, right? Yeah, exactly.
One thing too, I was like, oh, you mean a 5-year road plan? Oh no, sorry, that was Fallout 76 drill. So I'm still hesitant. Again, I'm still hesitant towards Starfield, just because we've seen, unfortunately, this trend not only within Bethesda but within the industry of let's release a game and not really make it fucking playable till 3 years later. Like for example, arguably the Halo campaign via the cooperative stuff is now in that category. Battlefield 2042 for sure. Fucking Cyberpunk. It started with as much as I do praise No Man's Sky, it is worthy of the criticism it got at day one launch. Not the death threats, but the criticism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is arguably this trend. Now, I will say, though, arguably, remember, No Man's Sky is maybe like 16 people. It's not fucking Halo or Battlefield level fucking studio. So that's also worth mentioning that, hey, 16 people, hey, you made we're like No Man's Sky. You're a major fucking billionaire studio. They have 16 people. So,
right.
Yeah, asterisk to that comparison, so but you know what I mean? So, I'm hopefully, again, I like Bethesda. I'm hoping we see more Doom stuff, but I'm constructively nervous.
Yeah, no, it did. It makes perfect sense.
Upside downside, even if it's not like the home run grand slam fucking knock out of the park game it is, I won't be paying $70 for it.
Right, exactly.
Because it's on Game Pass.
Game Pass. So speaking of subscription models, leaning over to the wall here, PlayStation. There's some word around this week, according to IGN, saying that PlayStation will reportedly reveal Spartacus, which is kind of like the project name subscription service as soon as next week. So we're curious about that. And this is, I guess, that was an original report from Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Couple of questions / comments from me, man. PlayStation has had a really bad laundry list of their subscription services. Okay, so they have PlayStation Plus, which obviously is the standard one as far as you connected online to get these deals on these games, blase. But then you have what's this? You have what's the streaming one?
Now.
PlayStation Now, right? Yeah, PlayStation Now, which is not connected to PlayStation Plus, a completely different subscription model that you can download.
I know that.
Yeah, it's different. It's completely separate from PlayStation Plus. That you can do Game Passy things, but as far as for those games, most of them aren't even updated, and all this other stuff. Yeah, you're getting like, oh hey guys, great, Last of Us 2 is available. It's like, great, that's been out for years and everyone's played it, and it's not a game to play many times, so whatever, So it's like you're getting games like that on there, where it's like, okay, whatever. And then there was rumors about that movie service that they might be releasing. That was the word around town. I know there was an alleged screenshot that was leaked.
Yeah, like a Sony, like a Sony Netflix.
Oh yeah, on like a Russian site or something. I know, bad timing for that, but yeah.
I just real quick, I just got a quote. I think it's Transformers, the best description. Sorry, real quick, but it's like, hey, how come you're having trouble translating the alphabet? It looks like the buttons on the calculator you never use. Sorry, that's just always stuck in my head, the way to describe the Russian letter alphabet. It has nothing to do with what's going on politically, just on face value. I think that joke is dead on to describe the Russian alphabet. It's the buttons. It's like the buttons on a calculator you never fucking use.
That's funny. But yeah, like they need to clean up this. They need to clean up all their subscription stuff And hopefully this Spartacus model will kind of like solidify and simplify everything. The Sony's always they've always been really bad with this. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of worried about this. I don't know what they're releasing. Part of me is hoping that they do some due diligence to those gamers that care about, you know, old school games, indie games. You know, give us some type of nostalgic nature of, you know, it's like what we're saying. Like to me, one of the most impressive things of Game Pass is the ability of true game preservation. Right, being able
we get one 360, we get one retro either Xbox original or 360 game a month. And remember, unlike the PlayStation subscription service where it's yours as long as you have the service, because of Xbox Gold, which now has all merged into one Xbox, you know, as we mentioned, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, with the Gold games, those are yours. That is your game. You just got you got the game for free versus the PlayStation subscription service where those are your games as long as you have the service.
Yes. No, and what I was going to say even further is that the games that are first party on Xbox, they do HD upgrades on those games. You know what I mean? Like, because those are their games, they're able to do that and to preserve those games. So compared to PlayStation, where you don't really see that, you know what I mean? Like you see that on Nintendo when they remake a game, you know, for a Mario game or whatever. But as far as like literal game preservation for older games, like Xbox arguably does it best as far as for like literally taking an old game and just make it HD res and making it available. You know what I mean? PlayStation hasn't done that, and I feel like they really need to try to, if possible. So, yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this Spartacus thing? What do you hope to see?
I'll say real quick. So back to your previous comment, comparing the Nintendo Xbox thing, I'd also argue one huge fucking difference with the way Nintendo preserves games and Xbox preserves games. You know, you mentioned how Xbox gives them the HD update. They're also a 20-year game is priced like a fucking 20-year game.
Right.
Whereas Nintendo was like, oh, that's a 20-year game.
$60.
That looks like 60. That looks like a $60 to me on the fucking price tag there, buddy. Oh, a sale? What's that? What, a discount? Well, I never heard of it. Whereas now I can't speak to Sony hands on because I don't have it. But remember, it is worth mentioning that most games, when there's like a thing in the store, you do get a special price because either A, you have Game Pass, or B, you have Gold. So sometimes it is listed, like we mentioned, for Game Pass games, they tell you, you know, hey, these games are leaving soon, and if you were to buy them, they'll be discounted. They are discounted because you have Game Pass, and if you didn't.
Yeah.
Even further, same thing with Gold is like, so yes, again, Xbox learned its lesson. They heard the community. We did not want to pay extra for shit. So again, one of the early perks we got as Gold members, well, I'd argue to Xbox One days than 360, but we got it. It's been years now. Again, we get discounts in the store because we have Gold. Now, again, if Sony does that, cool. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying that's a feature I know Xbox has.
Yeah.
So for me, that's just real quick in terms of the preservation retro thing. Those are the two biggest comparisons I have to Xbox and Nintendo. Xbox because of the update and it's priced what I like to call fairly.
Yeah.
So for example, I bought 2 Xbox Original One games last week for $5. I know how long ago was the Xbox Original? 20 years ago. Yep, they were $5 games.
Yeah. Nice.
Fucking Nintendo. Ooh, best I could do is 55 there, buddy. But with Spartacus itself, we say, okay, so remember, this story has 2 supposeds. So 1, the project name is supposedly Spartacus. 2, we're supposedly going to hear more about next week. So that's two things worth mentioning.
Yeah.
But I feel we wanted to talk about it because Sony needs to fucking talk about this soon. Like we've had, how many state of plays have we had between them officially announcing that, like, confirmed it's going to happen, to here we are now. There's been a lot, and them not really been silent about it. So even if it doesn't happen next week, we need to hear something about it fucking soon. You know what I mean? Also, I think we were joking of like Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. You just have to make the joke. You just have to. Yeah. And then I think you mentioned how, like, do you think they named it Spartacus as like, a knock at Spartan, like Halo? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. But again, yeah, something you mentioned I kind of forgot about. I forgot how many fucking subscriptions Sony has. So when you're
It's a
listing them,
mess, bro.
kind of going back to, or my previous comment of, I think like one of the major biggest decisions in Game Pass that really made its value was merging all that shit. It merged Xbox Gold and Game Pass into one thing, so you don't have to fucking do all that. And it did it. I think at an affordable price, $15 a month for the value you get, including now where we are now with this cloud update and the streaming update via just, you don't have to have a powerful gaming rig, just a decent internet connection. That's a huge fucking service that goes into hardware now. So it's not only with Game Pass are you seeing this game library, not only seeing your monetary value via the Xbox Gold, your quote unquote internet subscription service is part of it. Now you're getting these hardware benefits that we didn't see before. So again, for Sony to compete with that, and if this is again priced separately as another separate subscription service, dude, you see people canceling Netflix for $15 a month, PlayStation Now, what was the other, PlayStation Plus, and then so PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, let's just call it PlayStation Streaming, the entertainment one, or Sony Streaming, let's call it that.
Yeah.
And then now this thing, Spartacus, dude, that's a lot. Like I fucking canceled, like, just for the context, I cancel my Netflix subscription, again for $15 a month. Now they're doing the whole password shit, whatever. So again, I mean, yes, you are absolutely going to have the diehard Sony people buying it, but if they don't merge something fucking soon, that's a lot, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. They need to fix it because it's way too much. It's way too much, and it doesn't make any sense to today's consumer. They just need to really eat that.
And just because the timing of everything, I joke like, hey, man, you want a game on a budget? Gas is expensive. Game Pass got you.
And speaking of transactions, leading into microtransactions, talking about the Gran Turismo 7 lackluster microtransaction ridiculousness here that's happened. So I wanted to read an article, a little bit of it from Game Rant, an actual website, not this that other nonsense that I pulled up from the Microsoft story.
For the Microsoft interview. So this is what Microsoft to say, but before that, dinner at Applebee's was nice. Parking was bad. 1 star.
Oh man. But yeah, so basically here talking about the microtransactions. I'll also read the title of the article here. Gran Turismo 7 microtransactions are excessive. Critically acclaimed PlayStation exclusive racing game Gran Turismo 7 microtransactions are live in the game and they're a bit excessive. Continuing saying that that Gran Turismo 7 just launched and earned mostly positive reviews from critics who praise its graphics from the sheer amount of content that it had to offer. However, there was one area Gran Turismo 7 reviewers were unable to properly test prior to the game's launch: its microtransactions. Now that Gran Turismo 7 is launched, its microtransactions are visible and facing significant backlash by players who aren't impressed with how they've been set up. Says that the transactions allow players to spend real-world money to buy credits, which is extremely important in the game. So the credits are used to purchase everything from cars, car parts, and they're necessary for players to stay competitive as they progress through the experience. However, some might accuse Gran Turismo 7's microtransactions being predatory because if players attempt to buy something, they don't have enough credits. A pop-up appears that tells them that they can top off by visiting the PlayStation Store. It says here, continuing on that previous Gran Turismo games have used microtransactions to sell cars directly to players, but that's done away with Gran Turismo 7 to focus solely on selling credits. And the problem is that the credits can be expensive. Players have 4 options when it comes to buying Gran Turismo 7 credits. They can get 100,000 credits for $2.49, 250,000 credits for $5, 750,000 for 10, or 2 million credits for $20. So the issue is that there are plenty of cars that fall within the range between 750,000 and 2 million credits. Not to mention that the cars cost over 2 million credits, which means players may have to pay even more, even when they're planned for, to get certain cars in the game. End quote. So.
Is Sony becoming EA? What the fuck? Sorry to cut you off. I'm just like, first thoughts. That's my first thought.
So, I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Because I feel like this is a little disrespectful just because, like, as far as, they had a whole state of play dedicated to this, right? Talking about Gran Turismo 7, how awesome it looked. There's a lot of really great features that a lot of people were really excited for.
Yeah.
But looking at this microtransaction model being really aggressive and really expensive to the point of contention where it's like, this doesn't even make sense really anymore.
And
I'm sorry. I was gonna briefly say, and it's not necessarily the fact that there's microtransactions in the game, just because from previous games it said there were microtransactions in there, but not nearly as excessive and as aggressive as this. And where the model, because they do a mathematical equation around all this, right? As far as for like how much can the player spend to get X amount, how much money can we make on this? So they literally choose these prices very specifically. They don't just pull a number out of the hat. So because that they chose to do this, and players recognize it, get pissed off. Now, Gran Turismo 7 is one of the lowest played games on the PlayStation Network, if a very, very low percentage. But again, give me your thoughts on this.
And I was gonna say, remember, this wasn't a day one thing. This was a fucking like this. The extra store stuff was like to a point almost I felt like with the update. You know what I mean? It felt like this wasn't like day one. This was a day one launch new stuff. This was like an update that kind of tweaked it. And I'm playing Forza, an Xbox first party title. Arguably for me, quote unquote, face value free because via Game Pass. And yeah, there is a store, but it's not fucking predatory like that. It doesn't tell you like, have you bought this? Have you bought that? Are you gonna buy this? No, like the game's experience. I'm arguably like give or take 15 hours into Forza. And unlocking car. There's so many ways to unlock our cars. The game, even though put it this way, in Forza, even though there's a literal like casino slot machine spin the wheel, it's not predatory at all. You get it every time you level up. You know what I mean? Naturally, and you level up all the fucking time. I just started playing a few days ago. I'm already level 34, so that's 34 fucking spins. So the best I can apples to apples comparison is to do Gran Turismo 7 compared to Forza. They're both first party titles. They're both exclusive. They're both arguably Gran Turismo a little bit longer. If not mascots, just foundation fucking games for the console. It sucks what they're doing with this. I joked, is Sony becoming EA? Because I feel like there's been a few within the past 2 years, a lot of like microtransactions coming more and more to Sony's side. Now, not always first party titles. Yes, exclusives, but not always first party titles. For example, I mentioned Babylon's Fall. That's Sony exclusive, not a first party like Gran Turismo, but it is a Sony exclusive. Again, that's wrecked for more reasons than one with other microtransaction bullshit. On top of the fact these are not free games. They're modeling these like more and more like free fucking mobile games. So again, we've agreed microtransactions are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. Fine. So don't fucking do it like this. After, remind you, this is a Sony game. This is PS5. A $70 fucking game.
Yeah, and to me, it's disappointing to have it be an important first party, such as Gran Turismo 7. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like for a game like Babylon's Fall, even though like it still sucks. I agree. Yeah, but it's like, like it's not made by Polyphony, which is like a well-known developer from the Sony market. It's like, but for something like this, it's like, guys, like, this is really bad. You know what I mean? So especially because, they haven't, it's the same conversation that we had a few episodes ago, or just many episodes on our show, as far as like the reason why I haven't bought a PlayStation 5. Like, there's no real reason. There's no real games for it. You know what I mean?
They don't really have those top. They don't really. I feel like even right now, PS5 does not have their top 3 games that make you want to buy a PS5 right fucking now.
Yeah. You know what? And this it's funny. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but
go ahead.
I was thinking about this today, as far as for this recent, console generation launch of Xbox Series X and PS5. I mean, do you think, Arthur, this is like the most disappointing launch? Like, it's been 2 years, right? Like, since we've had. So, I mean, usually around year 2, year 3 is when we really start seeing games that are specifically like, this is made for this fucking console. You know what I mean?
And the large consumer base going, okay, I need to buy. Okay, it's been 2-3 years. I need to buy this.
Right.
And you are right. Like, minus the shortage. Like, that's a COVID shit. Just minus that. Talk about the games.
Yeah.
again, here we are now. 2 feels like 3. I lose track of time because of COVID. Compared to like it is just a disappointing launch, and it's like I'm saying only kinda, only because I know the Xbox One
Game Pass
also
saved us. Like, I mean,
the Xbox One also kind of had a slow launch too. Like, because we're still at GameStop at that point, and I remember day one Xbox One only had like Rise, Dead Rising 4.
yeah,
PlayStation only had their
knack.
Knack. Thank you, Knack. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So but again, years, here we are down the road, a little bit. I think, I forgot. First of all, I forgot how many scores, like 9s out of 10s, 10s out of 10s, 9s out of 10s, Forza got. And real quick, dude, I can tell you how did a racing game get that good of a score? It's fucking great.
Oh yeah,
it's so fun.
Those are great games. Excellent games. Yeah.
So I can see why Forza Horizon fucking killed it. But yeah, I mean, like you said, like I'm super happy I have my console. I finally got it. But like I said, in terms of Sony, like again, like how many state of plays, how many E3s, including the one they didn't fucking go to, have made me like stop what I'm doing to pre-order, or like minus the shortage. Hypothetically, I can get one right now. Nothing's really made me go online to add one to my cart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super glad I got, with the Series X. I'm happy with it. Games that can really make it, go through the ringer in terms of testing its hardware are out now. We had like Forza Horizon, via Forza. Now Microsoft Flight Simulator. The reason I include that in the category, because remember, that is the world.
Yeah.
Like in terms of if you want the largest open world game you've ever played, play Microsoft Flight Simulator, because they mapped the planet. But just something about Sony just really hasn't hit the mark, because and that's who we talked about. We talked about too. I think one of the biggest things that really hindered this console launch, or the console significance, was how many titles we kept seeing for both the Xbox One and the PS4. Yeah. Like I think a game that would have been a potentially, I need to buy this fucking now, would have been the Spider-Man like Miles thing.
Yeah.
And then some dumb fuck tweeted out like, it might be a DLC, it's for both, that's an extension. Like, what the fuck? You're just using buzzwords. What the fuck are you talking about?
They just messed up the entire market.
Because like, let's say that, because you remember that like when we saw that first announcement trailer, that was like, I want that game now.
Right.
And if that game was the PS5 exclusive, I think you would have seen a lot more, if not like PS5 sales, and or at least hubbub talk about it, of like PS5.
Yeah.
Fucking trending more than it would have been. And again, here we are now, potentially, let's say a Sony, like, I don't want to say Sony fanboy, but like, that's not the correct word, like Sony, like, I can't think of the word, like the diehard Sony fans. The diehard Sony fans are like, cool, hey, Ratchet and Clank's back, Ground Trizzle's back. This is a Sony I missed. This is a Sony I want. Spider-Man's there. Let's check it out. Bam, all the microtransaction bullshit. I feel like that's been a thing we've been seeing a lot hit. I feel like we've been seeing, like I said, we've been seeing these microtransactions come to Sony a lot more like this year, or the last 2 quarters, than like maybe like it feels like the last year almost combined. Like in terms of Sony and microtransactions in the same headline have been coming up a lot more recently.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Speaking of microtransactions, we have good old Rockstar releasing a subscription model that I know for a large majority of players do not care for, but I will bring it up because it is news. So it says here, according to IGN, it says Rockstar launched this paid GTA Online subscription called GTA Plus. It says coming exclusively to PS5 and Xbox Series XS versions. So it says here that GTA Plus will cost $5.99 per month, and providing subscribers with recurring monthly bank deposits of GTA's $500,000, ensuring players display plenty of cash to spend in the online open world. There will also be a wide range, in quote, of members-only bonuses, including exclusive properties, vehicles, upgrades, discounts, and cash RP bonuses. Rockstar also mentions that there will be the ability to unlock gameplay updates that you may have missed out on, suggesting previously true limited time content may be accessible with GTA Plus. So I will end that there in quote because it's really all we need to hear from that. Arthur, where's GTA 6?
Because we talked about how microtransactions they pay attention to the numbers really quick. 500,000 a month is fucking nothing.
Yeah, comparatively, right?
Like the cars and all the stuff you see in the commercials, like those jets, the fucking jetpacks, these supercars, those are like 2 million plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is stupid. Like, let me see. Waived what? Would be this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, while you read this, just to kind of add some dialogue here.
Sorry, we're quick because I'm looking at the full like boop 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 list. It's like it's not fucking worth it. Yeah, and it's only $5. That's the thing is like, oh, this is only it's what $5 a month.
$5.99.
Dude, like including tax, including tax, it's like $6.60. That's no fuck you. Like GTA 6. Like we're done.
Where are you? Yeah,
like,
where are you?
Where's all this focus? Again, something we mentioned that I would have been happy about, and a lot of people would have been happy about with the not delay, but the lack of work on GTA 6 was a trilogy. Those games still haven't been fixed.
Yeah, they're not 100% right.
We've had one patch, and the GTA remake trilogy is what I'm referring to. They still don't fucking work. Red Dead 2 Online is still getting no fucking support.
Yeah, no one plays that.
Like, and they say like, oh, they say like, oh, GTA 6 is gonna be X. Fuck you, Rockstar. Like, this is why I'm not excited. This is why I'm not excited for GTA 6. This is why they've killed my hype for it. Now it's not like it's gone forever. Like something we talked about. If it gets announced next thing, I'm just saying, hey, Rockstar, you want to like give me like a little check for ideas? Again, if you announce fucking Snoop Dogg's the DJ, then hey, you get my fucking hype again.
Well, this is the thing too, Arthur. I mean, I'm gonna keep saying this prediction until we find out that either one, it's not true, or just what happens.
Go ahead.
They're making a game. The next GTA 6 will be another game that will be stretching out for another 5 to 10 years. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do the same shit again with GTA 6. Like it just doesn't, to me, just from the pattern of how they've been treating Grand Theft Auto 5 and specifically GTA Online and having it being across multiple console generations, I can't help to think that they're going to do the same shit with GTA 6. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I still want to see what GTA 6 has to offer. But, it's just the fact that they've invested so much in this because people keep spending their fucking money. You have people like you and me that are just like, no, stop. Like, force them to focus on GTA 6.
I feel like if there needs to be like a UN of gamers.
Yeah.
And I feel like the majority of the gamer representatives need to scream at FIFA, Madden, and GTA players. Yeah. Stop it. Stop spending your fucking money on these games.
Right.
Like you wonder, not just wrong, but like you wonder why we're not getting GTA 6 because people are still buying shit like this.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking through it. Oh, you get a t-shirt and storage drill. Oh, you get a couple skins for your cars. Like, I mean, like picture this. Let's say this is for Sony. You're gonna fucking tell me. Let's say you're going all in on Sony. You're going all in. You're gonna be fucking playing for PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, their fucking movie streaming service, their Spartacus bullshit, and this.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
I like that meme of like games in the old days. It was like a hamburger, and it was like the full game, and the DLC was fries. Now it's like the meme of like games nowadays is like one bun, lettuce, ketchup, but no mustard, and then microtransactions and DLCs, all like the pickles and the fries and all the seasoning and shit.
Yeah,
like pepper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm looking at like just in terms of pure value, this is not fucking worth it. So let's just start there. You're not wrong of why GTA 6 is gonna take as long as it's gonna take to fucking make, because they want to make another fucking cash milk cow,
Yeah.
fat shit, to last as long as it did. Because again, remember, it's like you're right. That's what, and then some inside, you're right of why GTA 6 will take so long, because they want another GTA 5 online.
Yeah.
Where they could just cool. Let's have the one of the most profitable games in history. Have some of the shittiest servers. Have one and be like, it's been made public that one person can fix our servers. Yeah, we should cut him a fucking check, huh? Yeah, I guess so. How much? We need $1 billion on launch. $10K sounds about right. Oh, did he fix your servers a little bit, like 10%? No, 70%.
Yeah, 70.
Oh, our server wait times are 70% faster since launch. That's been like this for 5 fucking years and 2 fucking console generations. Yeah, 10K sounds about right. Fuck you, dude.
And you know what? It's crazy too. Like, I'm gonna laugh if they try to have some type of an import your GTA Online character to GTA 6 and how awful that process will be. Like, that's gonna be a really funny thing to watch,
dude. Like. As far as I'm concerned, in terms of how detailed the map needs to be, like I want to be able to drive to my fucking house, and that fucking it needs to be that realistic. And you just drive and like, hey, Dro, I'm outside your house. Let's meet the fuck up.
Yes, sir. And then the last thing here on the docket is it seems like it's a brand new saga. From CD Projekt Red, who once was highly respected in the gaming industry, specifically when it came to RPGs, and that awful, ridiculous blunder of the Cyberpunk launch, 2077. But it seems like they are coming out with a brand new Witcher game. There's a little bit of a teaser here online that happened earlier this week. Says here, according to The Verge, CD Projekt Red announces a new Witcher game is in development, and then it is supposed to use the Unreal Engine 5, which is pretty interesting as well, and we all know how crazy insane that is. There's no release date at this time, obviously, but it's very interesting that they are looking to do that. And then also, according to this article, it says, in quote, despite the partnership, the next Witcher game will not be exclusive to the Epic Games stores. And CD Projekt Red will continue to use the Red engine for some current projects like the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 expansion as well. So, it's interesting that they are making another Witcher game. I think it's kind of bold, to be honest. And I feel like they have to win back the respect of these customers that were really fucked over during Cyberpunk 2077. Yep. I was one of the small few where we're actually able to play the game because I bought it on PC and I played the game on PC. And there was even a little bit of bugs in that regard as well. But, the game was still playable. It wasn't, a complete fucking disaster. So, what are your thoughts on this, Arthur? Are you excited for the new Witcher?
Nope. Give me your well, because remember, here's a big thing a lot of people forgot. It was like talked about for like a week and then fucking forgot about. Remember why some of the patches took so long for Cyberpunk to come out is because, look what game came out like 2 weeks after Cyberpunk. Witcher, the fucking mobile monster capture bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, in like CD Projekt Red, in terms of a studio, I would argue, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm mentally picturing it like on the medium side. Like it's not small, it's not huge, because for example, like let's say you hear like Rockstar, you hear Rockstar Santa Monica, like Rockstar, or like even like Ubisoft Montreal, Ubisoft Santa Monica, Ubisoft Austin or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's boop boop boop. Like there's different studios making it. For example, like Bethesda, which is why like I can't say shit on their focus of Fallout 76. Drell corrects me and says, "Well, that's one team. They have other teams doing X, Y, and Z."
Yeah.
To my knowledge, CD Projekt Red is just one collab. Was one thing. Or am I wrong?
I think I don't think they're just one team, but I know that team isn't nearly as large as, some of the other, teams from other developers. I
Yeah,
know it's not that big of a team.
yeah. That's why for me, like I said, that's why for me it's on the medium size because they're
Yeah,
not like a small indie team, but
I
they're
think
not
you're
like
right.
but they said they're not like an EA where they have like Studio A, Studio B, Studio C. It's just a medium-sized game developer.
Yeah.
So again, so for me, when I hear the launch the Cyberpunk fucking had, and the 2 weeks after it came out, they had a fucking working mobile bullshit monster capture game to make quick money. Well, why the fuck weren't they working on your main flagship fucking game?
Right.
And that to a point that it's still fucking unplayable. That game for a lot of people will never be unplayable because a lot of the bugs that's in there is like it has to be like in the base fucking code. Yeah, I mean it's just one of those things where like fuck we like even for example, remember we got that major advertised first fix patch, boom, it created like 2 more game breaking bugs. Like like not like oops this update made Panam's ass flat. No, it broke your fucking game. It deleted your save. Whoopsies. You know what I mean? Like so like so like I'm saying is like it feels like a lot of these major bugs are like in the fucking base code that will never truly get fixed, and we will never get the game. Arguably, which is interesting, which is why I think remember that one fraudulent lawsuit I think has some fucking traction.
Yeah.
We will never truly get the game that was shown to us in their gameplay trailer. They showed us a gameplay trailer of like all these people walking around, but in the real game, it's like the same NPC, like the same 2 NPCs, like copied and pasted like 20 fucking times. You know what I mean? So
It's the same 10 people. Don't do that, Arthur.
sorry, okay, it's 10 people, but I'm saying like again, like,
yeah.
I feel like we will never truly get the gameplay
What
trailer
they
we were
showed
shown.
us.
We
Yeah.
will never get that. We will. It's never gonna happen. It's just not.
And that's
We
kind
have
of
to accept that.
that's kind of an old school term, or an old school strategy too, right? Because I remember back in the day for E3s, they would show footage from a PC versus the actual console, and then they caught on, and then they started actually doing that.
Yeah, but some of that was for cutscenes and stuff too. But like game, like hey, this was gameplay on console. Be like, what rig played this? Like is this, you know what I mean? Like what super beefed up console played that? But for Witcher 4, there was a talk about the story because to my knowledge, Geralt's story at least comes the books inspiration they come from. They've covered them all right. It's done. Yeah, so like Geralt's again. So once again, they might do the thing that we've seen with other mediums. They go beyond the books, but like in terms of the source references they use, they've used up Geralt's story.
Yeah.
So we might get Ciri?
Yeah, that's what people are expecting. They're thinking it might be her playing her. So.
Dang, because like I'm not gonna lie, Geralt's a man ass in Unreal Engine 5 really could have been marketable. Bathtub scene ×2, starring abs.
Yeah.
So unlike the previous games using their engine Red, I think it was literally called, they're using this time Unreal Engine 5, which means it gonna look good.
Should look pretty. So.
Which means sorry, current PS4, Xbox One owners, that is not coming to you.
Yeah.
not only in terms of one and how long it's coming out. 2, Unreal Engine 5 immediately screams for PC users like the X3090s, whatever the 3090, is that right?
The RTX 3090, 3080, yeah.
3090 is what I'm thinking of. For console users, that means PS5. And also, I'd argue, I wonder for Xbox players, Xbox Series X, because remember, the Xbox Series S is confirmed a not real next-gen console. So I wonder how, now that we're seeing more and more Unreal 5 engine games coming out, I wonder how they're going to be, how are we, like you predicted, are we going to start seeing just a discontinuation,
a phase out
of the Xbox Series S, which is confirmed by Microsoft, a not true next-gen console.
Yeah. I'll be very surprised if the Series S is still around 2 years from now. If it is, holy crap! Like I did not expect that at all. But
1 year for sure. 1 year for sure until the shortage is like fully wrapped up, like for sure.
Yeah.
But like I said, a year after that, it's like I said. Now that we're seeing more and more Unreal Engine 5. It's gonna have to get phased out because because we're gonna start seeing new logos E3. You know what I mean? New logos, new advertisements. Xbox Series X only, or Xbox Series X, no
Right.
parentheses S.
Right.
Not parentheses, backslash.
The back, yeah. One of the last questions I wanted to ask you: do you think they have some work to do to win people over again? Because as far as just folks that have originally were excited for games such as The Witcher 3, right? They were big fans of CD Projekt Red, and now, obviously Cyberpunk 2077 happened. Do you feel like you're going to see a lot of hesitancy from people going for this next Witcher game?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm in that boat. Because that again for me, I've said it a million times. I fucking hate mobile microtransaction bullshit. And again, for a studio that's not too extremely large, to say they put arguably a significant amount of workforce away from their, at the time, flagship new game we heard for years about. Like I said, you remember that game was, no game I would argue has been marketed as much as that game was.
Yeah.
Like they had their own Twitch show. You know what I mean? I was joking, coming soon, Cyberpunk 77, Pan Am condoms, blah, just so much. It was just so fucking. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And they had the launch they had, and said 2 weeks later, go check out our team made this out now. Witcher, the Monster Hunter capture game. Pay us money. So that combined with it is what irked me extra more than the game itself on face value did. So yeah, like I said, they definitely have to earn people back for that, because there's one thing of the hype train getting way the fuck out of the station to what that launch was.
Yeah.
And kind of I would argue the biggest backfire for them was the gameplay trailer. If they just shown nothing but CGI trailers, there might have been a defense there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To say, hey, it's a red flag that we never got a gameplay trailer. Maybe this is why. But to say that this is a gameplay trailer, 2, a gameplay trailer recorded on a console. Ooh, that's why, to a point we would argue when it was announced that they're false advertising, that civil-based false advertising lawsuit might have some traction, especially after they came out with that formal apology and kind of admitted to a few falsehoods. Remember that? They legit admitted to a few falsehoods in that apology.
Yeah, they did.
And we were like,
oh.
And we're like, fuck, we should have signed up for that litigation team. We would have got a fucking settlement. Because I'm not, I don't like being super, sue heavy. I feel like it's a very American thing. But again, it was interesting to know. It was interesting to see that, knowing after litigation had been announced, they admit to significant falsehoods in that apology. It's one transparent. I part of me respects it. I thank you. You're admitting fault. It's really hard to do. But I'm not gonna lie, even I would have been like, you guys are getting sued. You lie a little longer. When Tom Segura talks about 48 hours, lie longer.
Well, this is a good segue. Speaking of lying longer, the last segment on the show that I forgot to mention earlier. So you got Activision Blizzard. You have Activision Blizzard. This last story, basically, Microsoft said that they would be open to Activision Blizzard once they acquire the team officially to have a union. They said they would be open to the conversation. Obviously, we're curious to see, what becomes of that earlier on. But I thought that was interesting that they would actually be open to that, because usually, for today's standards, unions, a lot of unions have closed, and most companies are not fans of unions because of the expensive-ness and everything, natures of the union. So, but I do think
unions are a big subject. Like we mentioned this before. I don't know if you've had hands-on experience. I've had hands-on experience. It's like they're a unique subject. You can't say all. For example, on face value, my experience, on face value, to say all unions have your best. Sorry, as I hit my mic. All unions have your best interest in art is not inherently true. It's not. So but go on.
Yeah. Like I know there's some research from regarding 45 unionizations declined 45% within the past 8 to 10 years, something like that. But But speaking specifically to this situation, right? One of the things that I thought was interesting was the conversation of crunching, of teams being pushed to hit these
Yes.
deadlines in a very toxic manner. And I know we had a Church on the show for one episode, and Church was saying how, this is kind of like throughout the gaming industry, and not like an uncommon thing. Which I can definitely see that it would be common. However, I wouldn't. I was arguing that it's not normal, and I feel like this is kind of one example that kind of proves my point as far as like this is a very toxic thing, and I know Microsoft said that they don't want to have that type of work environment for them, and it says a lot for Activision Blizzard employees to push for a union because it shows how fucked over they were. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this is even before like the sexual
This is just as
harassment allegations.
Yeah, as a workforce, like minus all the other crazy bullshit.
Yeah.
Just and there's one thing mentioned. There is one thing that's worth mentioning for context. Unions in gaming industry are semi-common outside the U.S. So this union, can't think of the word, spazzing. This pushback. So this pushback on possible union is it's a American thing, at least within, I can speak, at least in this case, for the gaming industry. Poland and a few other, I know Poland, I think maybe CD Projekt Red because they're Polish, I think, and a few other, like I said, European-based gaming companies have this. So that's a thing, that's a semi-common thing outside the U.S.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, I think that's going to be the biggest thing to address. I think a lot of people mentioned on Facebook, at least I get it, instinctively reacted like, yeah, this will stop the sexual harassment. Like that a million other things should stop that shit. I think, whereas like you said, the focus of this will be the crunch stuff.
Yeah.
Because we've heard stories of like people having like pee buckets that they're like, like medical, like they go to CVS and get pee buckets because they're fucking, if they, they take a bathroom too long.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is this, Amazon? What the fuck? So it will be interesting. And again, it is worth noting that at least on face value, from what we heard, Phil Spencer, at least at Microsoft, giving them the thumbs up, we're okay for talks on this, seeing where everything you people have come through, that everything you've gone through for the most part. So I wonder how they're gonna move forward with this.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, just we've you've done, I've had my hand on experience, and I can't speak for you, but I know you've done your research on it. So I hope that but when the union is formed, like for dues and shit, they don't paycheck wise, they don't screw over the workers, because again, that is the thing.
Yeah.
That is a thing in the union industry. But again, talking that it's a whole other fucking subject.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for, but again, I think it is a good thing on face value, especially Activision Blizzard. If there's any, like, at least right now in the news, if there's any company that just deserves a union, it's Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, man. So yeah, my thoughts are with them. They're going through some crazy shit. So, one thing I wanted to kind of end on a lighter note. We Arthur, we're about 3 months away from an E3 week. I mean, maybe we're a week after 3 months and a week after E3 week. But this should be an interesting one, just given Microsoft trying to acquire Activision Blizzard, and then it's curious to see what else is being made, and then what the is Sony doing, and they better fucking show up to E3. I swear to God.
I had this is why I don't play poker. I have a lot of faces. Before recording, Joe was just like watching me stare at my phone, like like fucking reading stories. My epiphany face of like, I'm remembering one E3 too, Avowed, Obsidian.
Right, some gameplay from that, right? Yeah.
Obsidian, like I said, Obsidian is increasingly becoming my friend and savior for RPGs. Dude, with E3 coming up, this year's gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because this will be technically the last E3 that Activision Blizzard is its own company.
Yeah.
The next E3, you got Philly Phil.
Yes, sir.
Do you think what, if any, we might see, like, we better at least hear about, if not a showcase or a trailer, just hear about by then. Fucking Coop with Halo.
Yeah.
I just realized that. Like, sorry, Halo, I try not to fucking shit in you so much. The more I think about you, the more disappointed I am.
No, it's a great point. If they don't have co-op by June, I think you're gonna see like this exponentially. Because I know it's going down now, but if they don't have Coop within Halo Infinite by then, like it's done. Like 343 is done officially. So
we definitely got to get our bingo cards again.
Yeah.
I feel like there's also the two columns of like what we want to see versus what we think we'll get. Like I said, I want to see Avowed. Like I want to hear more about Halo. I'm not sure if we'll get more about Halo. Yeah. If fucking Todd Howard utters the words Fallout 76, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Oh, you know he will, bro. You know he will. Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Oh, we have a 5-year plan for Fallout 76. For the God, fuck.
Yeah, man. So that's going to wrap up here the Gamers for Life podcast here with us today. Again, each and every Saturday discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is my great co-host, Arthur Thomas.
Thanks for sticking with us. Big news story week.
Yes, indeed. Hey, guys. We will see you next week.